All right, let's dive into some cybersecurity stuff today.
Okay.
We've got like articles, blog posts, even a piece of an audio blog, all kind of pointing to some serious stuff.
Yeah.
It's happening in cybersecurity.
Oh, yeah.
Think of this as like your cheat sheet to staying ahead.
Okay.
We're going to break down the most critical stuff,
Right.
the most actionable insights from all this stuff.
Yeah.
So, you can feel informed or ready to go.
It's interesting, all these sources,
Yeah.
they highlight a common thread, I think.
Okay.
The gap between knowing about cybersecurity risks
Right.
and then actually doing something.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
It's one thing to read about it,
Mm-hmm.
but another thing to actually, do something.
Exactly.
Yourselves, yeah.
The first thing that stood out to me
Yeah.
was this whole issue with patching.
Right, patching. It's
Yeah.
like a never-ending battle.
It really is.
Yeah.
And there's good reason for that.
Okay.
Look at what happened with Fortinet.
Oh.
They're like
Yeah.
a huge name
Right.
in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
But even they had a 0-day vulnerability pop up.
Oh, wow.
This is basically a flaw
Yeah.
the hackers know about
Oh, okay.
and are actively exploiting.
So this isn't like a theoretical risk.
No.
This is like a real, clear and present danger.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even a week after they released a patch,
Mm.
thousands of systems were still vulnerable. So we're talking about attackers stealing credentials
Oh, no.
and gaining admin privileges on networks.
Okay, so this Fortinet situation,
Yeah.
is this a sign that companies are getting slower with patches?
I think it's a bit of both.
Okay.
I think, companies are getting a little slower, hackers are getting faster.
Okay.
But the takeaway here,
Yeah.
patching is not a one-time thing.
Okay.
It needs to be a continuous process.
So it's not set it and forget it.
Definitely not.
Okay. All right.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
It's not just about Windows and Office. Every application needs patching. Like
Everything.
your firewalls, servers,
Wow.
even that random software you downloaded last month.
Oh, okay.
It all needs to be kept up to date.
So it's a lot to keep track of.
It is.
I mean, do you even know every single application on all your devices?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
And it highlights why having a system to track missing patches is so important.
Oh.
Because without that visibility, you're flying blind.
Right.
And that's how hackers slip through the cracks.
It's almost like you wouldn't leave the doors to your house open, right?
Right?
Unpatched systems are like unlocked back doors
Exactly.
to your digital life.
Yep.
Hackers know they're there.
Yeah.
They're going to try to get in.
Absolutely.
And it's not just about protecting data anymore.
Right.
It's our entire digital lives.
And it's not just about protecting yourself.
Right.
It's like, think about the ripple effect.
Yeah.
One compromised system can affect other systems.
Oh. Of
It's
course.
like a chain reaction that can have far-reaching consequences.
It's all connected.
Right.
Speaking of connections, there's some debate
Yeah.
about the government's role in all this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the sources we looked at mentioned a Homeland Security nominee
Oh.
who's pushing for a smaller,
Yeah.
more focused CISA.
Right. The Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency.
Right. For those who, haven't heard of it,
Yeah.
this nominee is advocating for CISA to prioritize hardening systems,
Yes.
but not necessarily things like misinformation
Right.
and disinformation.
So it raises the question.
Yeah,
Is it the government's job to protect people who don't take cybersecurity seriously?
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line
Right. Where's the line?
between individual responsibility and government intervention?
Exactly. And there are strong opinions on both sides.
Yeah.
Senator Rand Paul, for example,
Mm.
wants to just eliminate CISA altogether.
Wow. Okay.
He argues cybersecurity should be left to the private sector. On the other hand, many argue that state and local governments
Right.
are struggling to keep up
Mhm.
with cyber threats.
Okay.
And they need CISA's help.
So what do you think?
Yeah. What do you think, listener?
Do you think the government has a role,
Mm-hmm.
or should this be handled by the private sector?
It's a complex issue.
It is. Yeah.
No easy answers.
Yeah, no easy answers.
It's one that we should all be thinking about
For sure.
because these decisions, they're going to have a big impact
Oh, yeah.
on the future of cybersecurity.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about something that caught my eye.
Right.
AMD, the chip maker.
Yeah.
It seems that one of their partners, ASUS,
Mm-hmm.
disclosed a pretty bad microcode bug
Oh, yeah.
before AMD even had a patch ready.
Not a good look.
Yeah, not ideal.
What makes this really worrying
Yeah.
is that it's a BIOS vulnerability.
Okay.
That means it can compromise a system before the operating system loads.
So before anything even starts up,
Basically, yeah.
Wow.
It makes typical security tools useless.
It's like trying to build a house on
Yeah.
a foundation that's already crumbling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The impact is huge.
Yeah.
Skilled attackers could use this to rewrite a computer's microcode.
Oh, wow.
So imagine having a virus
Yeah.
that your antivirus can't even see.
Oh, that's like terrifying.
Yeah.
So if you have AMD-based computers, and let's be honest, a lot of us do.
A lot of us.
This is a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, the sources are suggesting isolating these systems until a patch is available,
Yeah.
restricting privileges
Restricts privileges, yeah.
as much as possible.
It's all about managing risk.
Right.
You need to assess your tolerance,
Okay.
identify vulnerable systems,
Yes.
take action.
Okay.
In this case, halting all updates
Got it.
on those systems
Yeah.
until it's resolved.
Better safe than sorry.
Always.
Yeah.
Especially with a vulnerability this fundamental.
All right. Now, before we get into the big stories, let's just do a quick rundown.
Quick hits?
Yeah, of some other cybersecurity news that caught our eye.
Okay, let's hear it.
First up, there's this new AI tool out of China.
Okay.
It's generating a lot of buzz.
Interesting.
It's like really powerful.
All right.
But there are concerns about built-in censorship
Okay.
and, data being sent back to China.
That's a classic example of the double-edged sword of technology.
Right.
You get great capabilities, but also ethical and security implications.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we need to be thinking about the tools we use and the data we share.
For sure.
Next up, be on the lookout for those Chinese SMS spam scams.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not just email anymore.
Wow.
They're targeting our text messages.
So it's not just suspicious emails anymore.
Right.
Cyber criminals are always adapting.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be skeptical of any messages, really.
Yeah.
Especially those that pressure you to act quickly.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Think before you click, listener.
Now, this next one is going to stir up some conversation.
Well, okay.
The president recently pardoned Ross Ulbricht,
Okay.
the founder of Silk Road.
I remember Silk Road.
Yeah, that infamous dark web marketplace.
This is going to be interesting.
This pardon has sparked a lot of debate
Yeah.
about the ethical and legal implications
Right.
of basically enabling a platform that was used for illegal activities. It's a complex situation.
Yeah.
The Silk Road case really highlights how technology can blur the lines between right and wrong.
It's not always black and white.
No, and how there aren't always easy answers
Yeah.
when it comes to navigating these digital gray areas.
It also brings up questions about the future of dark web marketplaces.
Right.
And, the role of governments in regulating them.
It's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, in the U.S., there's news that the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board is facing a potential shutdown.
Wow.
The administration has asked all Democratic members to resign.
Okay.
Which would leave the board without a quorum,
Yeah.
unable to operate.
This is concerning.
Yeah.
That board plays a vital role in government oversight and accountability.
Right.
Especially when it comes to privacy and civil liberties.
It raises questions about, the balance of power.
Yeah.
And the potential for unchecked surveillance.
Absolutely.
In the digital age.
It's something we should all be paying attention to.
For sure.
Across the pond.
Yeah.
The EU is continuing its crackdown on Meta's data practices.
Okay.
They're arguing that Meta's approach to user consent isn't really a choice.
Like, take it or leave it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a pivotal battleground, I think.
Okay.
In the fight for data privacy.
Yeah.
Meta's whole model relies on collecting and using user data.
Right.
And the EU is challenging that.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out and what implications it has for data privacy regulations globally.
Okay. Globally, yeah.
All right, we've covered a lot.
We have.
But there are two big stories we need to dive into.
Okay.
First up, the TikTok saga.
TikTok. The app that's captured the world's attention.
Right.
But also found itself in some geopolitical tensions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, TikTok went dark.
Wow.
In the U.S. due to the threat of massive fines.
Okay.
Millions of users were impacted.
Yeah.
It really put the pressure on both ByteDance.
Right. TikTok's parent company.
Yeah, and the incoming administration.
It's interesting to see how technology, politics, and national security are all kind of colliding here.
The U.S. government is concerned about data being shared with the Chinese government.
Right.
ByteDance is trying to protect its business. And then you have American users and politicians who are feeling the impact
They're feeling it.
of TikTok's absence.
Yeah.
The incoming administration has extended the deadline for ByteDance
Okay.
to figure things out, but it's still a ticking time bomb.
What do you think will happen?
Yeah, what do you think, listener?
Will they strike a deal?
Yeah.
Or will the app be banned?
And lastly, we need to talk about some new cybersecurity rules
Oh, okay.
that are coming for government contractors.
Yeah, this is something to pay attention to.
Yes, especially if you work with government contracts.
Literally.
There's a new draft regulation
Yeah.
that will impact all civilian executive branch contracts.
Wow. Right.
The focus is on the protection of controlled unclassified information,
CUI.
or CUI, right?
Yeah.
Here's the key takeaway.
Okay.
CUI protection is no longer limited to Department of Defense contracts.
Oh, wow.
Even small contracts under $250,000
Really?
will be subject to these new rules.
That's a big change.
Yeah, and FedRAMP authorization
Hmm.
will be mandatory for any cloud software
Okay.
used in these contracts.
Got it.
There's a new standard form
Right.
that outlines data protection requirements
All right.
in detail.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, contractors will have to report any CUI spills within 8 hours.
8 hours. Wow.
And there are potential financial penalties
Right.
for noncompliance.
This is going to require government contractors to really step up their game.
For sure.
Yeah.
Implementing these requirements could be expensive
Yeah,
and complex,
it could be.
but there's help available.
There is.
If you're feeling overwhelmed, reach out to the experts.
Right. The experts can guide you.
Yeah.
Make sure you're in compliance.
And remember, this is just a draft regulation.
Oh, that's right.
There's still time to provide feedback
Okay.
and potentially influence those final rules.
That's good to know.
So stay engaged, listener.
Yeah. Stay engaged.
Your voice matters.
It does.
All right, that's a wrap for part 1 of our cybersecurity deep dive.
Wow.
We covered a lot today.
We did. From patching to government regulations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's more to come.
There's more. Okay.
In part 2, we're taking a closer look at the psychological side
Oh, interesting.
of cybersecurity.
Okay.
We'll be exploring how our own behaviors and biases
Yeah.
can make us more vulnerable to attacks.
This is a fascinating area.
Yeah.
It often gets overlooked,
For sure.
but it's so important
yeah, it's
to understanding why cyber attacks are so successful
yeah.
and how we can better protect ourselves.
Oh, stay tuned.
You know, keeping your systems safe is super important as businesses rely more and more on digital systems, and that's where turnkey cybersecurity can really help.
Yeah, we're here to help small businesses just like yours make sure they're safe and sound in this crazy world of cybersecurity. And we offer a whole suite of services specifically tailored for you. So that's ensuring CMMC compliance and doing penetration testing. We also run vulnerability scans, and we can help you develop a comprehensive risk assessment.
And it doesn't stop there, right?
No, it doesn't.
We handle incident response, should the unfortunate happen, and we guide you through migrations like GCC. We just want to make sure your transitions are smooth and that you're secure.
It's all about peace of mind, right? You focus on what you do best, running your business, and we'll make sure that your digital world is safe and sound. We were talking about, like, external threats.
Right, external threats.
In cybersecurity,
Yeah.
things like vulnerabilities, hackers,
Yeah.
government regulations.
Huh.
But let's turn the spotlight inward.
Okay.
Explore the human element of all this.
The human element.
You know, I used to think cybersecurity was all about firewalls and antivirus,
Mm-hmm.
but this whole human element thing, this is what really keeps me up at night.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's a critical aspect that often gets overlooked.
Yeah.
The reality is, our own psychology
Mm-hmm.
plays a huge role
Okay.
in how susceptible we are to cyber attacks.
It's like we're our own worst enemies sometimes.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the most common psychological traps
Yeah.
is what we call optimism bias.
Okay.
It's that tendency to believe that bad things are less likely to happen to us
Right.
than to others.
It's like thinking I'll never win the lottery, but
Mhm.
then, not locking your car door
Yeah.
because, my car will never get broken into.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in cybersecurity,
Mm-hmm.
optimism bias can lead to a false sense of security.
Okay.
We underestimate the risks
Right.
and don't take the necessary precautions.
So we need a healthy dose of realism,
A healthy dose.
maybe even a little bit of paranoia.
Well, paranoia might be a bit much,
Okay.
but a healthy skepticism is good.
So question everything.
Not necessarily everything,
Okay.
but anything suspicious or too good to be true.
Okay, that makes sense.
Another psychological trap
Yeah.
is the availability heuristic.
Availability heuristic, what's that?
This is our tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events
Okay.
that are easily recalled
Okay.
or vivid in our memory.
So basically, we're swayed by headlines
Yeah.
or scary stories we've heard.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
Our brains are wired to prioritize
Yeah.
information that's like emotionally charged
Okay.
or easily accessible.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
how do we overcome these biases?
How do we overcome them?
Yeah, and become like more cyber aware.
Well, awareness is the first step.
Okay.
By recognizing these biases,
Yeah.
we can start to challenge
Hmm.
our assumptions,
Okay.
make more informed decisions.
So don't just blindly trust what you see online.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not just about recognizing threats.
Right.
It's also about developing good cyber hygiene habits.
Okay. Like what?
Things like using strong passwords,
Yeah, we talked about that.
being cautious about clicking on links,
Right.
keeping your software updated.
Yeah, the basics.
For basics, yeah.
But those are good practical tips.
They are.
But what about like the bigger picture?
Yeah.
What can organizations do?
Organizations.
Yeah.
They need to foster a culture of cybersecurity awareness.
Okay.
This means providing regular training and education to employees.
All right. Training.
Training, but not just the technical aspects,
Right.
also the psychological factors.
Right. So it's not just teaching them how to use the antivirus software.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's also helping them understand
Yeah.
how their own brains can work against them.
Right. Because people make mistakes.
Of course, people make mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So training can only go so far, right?
Right. That's why it's crucial
Mm-hmm.
to implement strong security controls
Oh,
that account for human fallibility.
like what kind of control?
Things like multi-factor authentication.
Right. Data loft prevention solutions,
Okay.
intrusion detection systems.
Okay.
These can help mitigate the risks.
So it's about layering security measures,
Yeah,
not relying on a single point of failure,
exactly.
including ourselves.
Including ourselves, yeah.
A comprehensive cybersecurity strategy has to address both, right?
Both the technical and the human aspects of risk.
Got it.
It's about recognizing that we are often the weakest link,
Yeah.
but also that we can be a powerful force for security
Okay.
if we're empowered
Right.
and informed.
This has been really eye-opening.
Glad to hear it.
I feel like I'm starting to understand this whole human firewall concept.
The human firewall, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a crucial concept.
Okay.
As cyber attacks become more sophisticated,
Yeah.
more targeted,
Right.
the human element is often
Yeah.
the most unpredictable
Okay.
and therefore the most difficult to defend against.
Right.
But by understanding our own vulnerabilities,
Mm-hmm.
we can take steps to strengthen our defenses.
So what's the one thing our listeners should take away from all this?
Be mindful,
Okay.
be skeptical, and be proactive.
Okay.
Don't assume you're immune to cyber attacks.
Right.
Don't rely on technology alone to protect you.
It's about taking ownership.
Taking ownership.
And your own cybersecurity.
And remember, it's not just about protecting yourself.
Right.
It's also about protecting your family, your friends, your community.
Exactly. We all have a role to play
We do.
in creating a safer digital world.
Absolutely.
Well, that about wraps up
Yeah.
our exploration of the human side of cybersecurity.
The human side.
In part 3, we'll bring it all together.
Okay.
We'll discuss practical steps
Practical steps.
you can take
Right.
to enhance your cybersecurity posture,
Hmm.
both individually
Okay.
and within your organization.
Sounds good.
We'll also look at emerging trends
Oh, interesting.
and what the future holds.
Looking ahead.
Yeah, for this rapidly evolving field.
It is rapidly evolving.
So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
After a quick pause
Quick pause.
to gather our thoughts.
Gather our thoughts.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to the final part of our cybersecurity deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot, patching dilemmas, psychological traps, all that.
It's been a journey.
Now let's talk about like what we can actually do about all this.
Yeah, let's get practical.
Exactly. What are some like tangible steps
Tangible steps.
our listeners can take to boost their cybersecurity,
Yeah.
both at home and at work?
Well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
we got to ditch the "it won't happen to me" mentality.
Like it's not just for like the techies, right?
Yeah.
Or big corporations. This is for everybody.
That's for everyone.
It's like wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah.
You do it,
Yeah.
even if you don't think you'll get into an accident.
A perfect analogy.
So let's start with the basics.
Okay.
Strong passwords.
Strong passwords, yeah.
A must.
That's right.
And password 123 doesn't cut it.
No.
Use a combination of upper and lowercase letters,
Right.
numbers, symbols.
And don't use the same password for multiple accounts.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's like using the same key for your house, your car, and your office.
One key to rule them all.
And lose them all.
Exactly. What about, like, a password manager?
Password managers are great.
Yeah.
They can generate and store those complex passwords for you.
Okay.
So you don't have to
Fine.
remember them all.
Passwords, check.
What else?
Enable multi-factor authentication.
Multi-factor authentication. Oh,
Whenever possible.
right.
It adds an extra layer of security.
Okay.
You have to verify your identity
Right.
through a second channel.
Like a text message or an app.
Exactly.
It's like having a security guard at the door.
Yeah.
Even if they have your key,
Yeah.
they can't get in without the guard's approval.
Right. Another crucial step.
Yeah.
Keep your software updated.
Oh, yeah, those updates.
Those
They
updates.
include security patches, right,
They do.
that fix vulnerabilities. Don't ignore those notifications.
And don't just click remind me later
Well,
over and over again.
just get it done.
Yeah, just do it.
It's like putting off going to the doctor.
Right?
You might feel fine now, but ignoring those warning signs
Yeah. Could lead to bigger
could
problems.
lead to bigger problems later.
Speaking of warning signs,
Yeah.
how can we spot phishing scams?
Phishing scams.
Yeah.
They're getting so sophisticated.
They really are.
Be wary of any unsolicited emails or messages
Yeah.
that ask for personal information
Okay.
or urge you to click on a link.
Right.
Look for red flags,
Red flags. Okay, like what?
misspellings,
Okay.
grammatical errors,
Okay.
suspicious sender addresses.
If it looks fishy, it probably is.
Exactly.
Right.
And if you're ever unsure about an email,
Yeah.
don't click on any links.
Okay.
Don't open any attachments.
Okay, got it.
Reach out to the sender directly
All right. Good advice.
through a known and trusted channel.
So what about social media?
Social media.
Any tips for staying safe online?
Be mindful of what you share online.
Good.
Think twice before posting personal information,
Right.
like your address, phone number,
Vacation plans.
vacation plans,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Be cautious about accepting friend requests from people you don't know.
It's like inviting a stranger into your home.
Yeah.
You want to be sure who you're letting into your digital life.
And this might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but be careful what you click on.
Okay. Right.
Those clickbait headlines and quizzes might be tempting,
They are tempting.
but they could lead you to malicious websites.
So it's all about, like, being aware of the risks.
Aware of the risks
Ah.
and taking steps to minimize them.
And don't forget about backing up your data.
Backing up, that's a good one.
Yeah, to an external hard drive or a cloud service.
Mhm.
Having a backup can really save you
Absolutely.
if your device is ever lost, stolen, or compromised.
It's like an insurance policy for your digital life.
Okay, so we've covered individual steps. What about organizations?
Organizations.
Okay, what can they do?
Well, it starts with leadership.
Okay.
Cybersecurity needs to be a top priority,
Not just an afterthought.
not an afterthought.
They need to invest in the right resources.
Right. Resources like technology, training, personnel,
It's about creating a culture of security.
a culture of security. Yeah.
And that culture needs to be supported
Yeah,
by robust policies and procedures.
absolutely. Things like incident response plans,
Data breach protocols.
data breach protocols, vendor risk management programs.
It's about having a plan in place
A plan,
before something goes wrong.
because something will inevitably go wrong.
Right. No system is perfect.
No system is perfect.
That's why it's crucial to assess your security posture
Regularly.
regularly. Yeah.
Conduct vulnerability scans,
Penetration tests.
penetration tests, security audits.
Identify and address weaknesses.
It's like a regular checkup.
Yeah, at the doctor.
Exactly.
It's better to catch it early than to wait for a full-blown crisis.
Right.
And don't forget about the human element.
The human element, always.
Cybersecurity awareness training
Yes.
for employees.
Teach them about phishing scams,
Social engineering tactics.
social engineering, yes.
Strong passwords. All that.
It's about empowering employees.
Right, to be the first line of defense.
Exactly.
And encourage them to report any suspicious activity.
The sooner you know, the better.
It's all about communication.
Communication.
Collaboration, yeah.
Cybersecurity is a team effort.
It really is. We're all in this together.
So what's next?
What's next?
What emerging trends should we be watching?
One trend that's really taking off is AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence, it's being used by both attackers and defenders.
So it's like a cybersecurity arms race.
It is. Attackers are using AI to develop more sophisticated malware,
Right.
phishing campaigns, while defenders are using it to enhance threat detection.
Right. So it's a constant game of cat and mouse. Cat and mouse, yeah.
Another trend.
Another trend is cloud security.
Cloud security, okay.
As more organizations move to the cloud,
Yeah.
the attack surface expands.
It's like moving to a bigger house.
Exactly.
More rooms to protect.
More rooms to protect.
And with remote work,
Yeah.
securing endpoints is more critical than ever.
It's not just about the office network anymore.
It's about every device that connects to it.
Exactly.
And finally, there's cyber resilience.
Cyber resilience, yeah.
It's not just about preventing attacks.
Right.
It's about recovering quickly.
Recovering quickly.
If an attack does occur.
It's about having a plan B.
A plan B.
And a plan C and a plan D.
So what's the bottom line for our listeners today?
Cybersecurity is a journey.
A journey, not a destination.
Not a destination, it's a continuous process.
Of learning, adapting.
Adapting, evolving.
It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about being prepared.
Prepared, and it's about working together.
We're all in this together.
We are.
Well said. Well, that wraps up our cybersecurity deep dive.
It does.
We hope you found it informative, engaging, and most importantly, actionable.
Actionable, yeah.
Stay safe out there, listener.
Stay safe.
And keep learning.
Keep learning.
The world of cybersecurity is always changing.
Always changing.
The best way to stay ahead is to stay informed.
Stay informed.
Until next time.
Goodbye.